Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're returning. Today I wasn't really in the mood to play with any Sims or anything, but I did really want to build something. Currently, I'm playing a legacy challenge and my Gen 1 Sim has to go to the library a lot because of her aspiration and career, which, if you're curious, you can always go check out those videos. I'll link episode 1 in the description below for you. We're currently only on episode 4 and I plan to record episode 5 tomorrow, so make sure to look out for that if you're following along. The original library here in Willow Creek wasn't really cutting it for us anymore, so I just had to build another one. Not only was it kind of small, but it only had one chess table in there. I ended up copying and pasting it, so we had another, but Sims still kept coming around all the time. And since it was so small, all the Sims were crowded in one spot, and they just kept talking to me, and you really couldn't get any work done in there whatsoever. But this is the shell of the library, basically. I'm building in Willow Creek, and I wanted to go for a similar style the buildings around it has. I ended up making it 2 stories because I wanted to have more room in the library, but I also wanted to be able to fit in more skill building items. However, we didn't really get a lot in there. I just put in a couple of extra chess tables up there and some things for kids. But I also ended up building a section upstairs that's like a quiet section for studying or doing homework, and there is a room there for infants and toddlers if you have to bring them along. Surprisingly, this build didn't take me long at all, or at least it didn't feel like it. I think I only took about an hour or maybe an hour and a half at most, since it's a really simple shape and building. One thing you guys will learn about me is that I am not an extravagant builder at all. I'm just a simple, ordinary Sims player who just happens to try and build sometimes. So don't come here expecting anything out of this world or magnificent. I'm actually really proud of how this build turned out though, because I don't usually build. I don't know what happened, but I think it's because I was making something for you guys to see. So thank you for giving me temporary builder juices. That didn't sound right at all, but moving on. So here I'm about to start doing some landscaping, or at least planning out to do the landscaping. It was actually really easy since the lot was so small and the building took up majority of it. So I ended up just putting some flowers around and some trees, but I really didn't have to do much in terms of that. And I'm really happy for that because I am not really good at landscaping at all. But now I'm just going through trying to find some windows. I was struggling really bad because I didn't know what kind would suit the build and I really didn't want to mess it up. I ended up just going with the white Strangerville ones and I called it a day with that. But I spent an unnecessarily long amount of time on these. When I tell you, this was like the longest amount of time I spent on the build for windows. And it's not even just with this library, it's like that for all of my builds I ever do. At first, I didn't really like the shape of this build because it looked very boxy, and also the brick wallpaper made it all look really flat, and I was thinking about just bulldozing the whole thing, but I just decided not to. So now, here I am just going around the build with some terrain paint. I learned that this helps to add a lot more depth to your building if you just add some dirt around it. It just makes it look a lot less flat. But for the rest of this outside section, I'm just gonna play some music and I'll get back to you guys whenever we move on to the inside. So we're inside now, and the first thing I'm doing is deleting these little walls that are inside because this whole place is gonna be really open. And I went in and put some lights everywhere, of course, so that we can see. When I envisioned this library, I wanted it to be kind of dark, like use a lot of brown, so I used a really dark wood flooring, and I believe that I ended up using the first one that I had, which I believe is from Eco Lifestyle, which, by the way, this flooring with all of its swatches is literally my favorite flooring in the whole game. And I ended up going with this wallpaper just because it was nice and simple, and it also had the dark, like, lining. I believe that's what it's called. But now the first room we're gonna work on is the bathroom, actually, because I didn't want to forget it. And it's a simple restroom. I used the Growing Together wallpaper, and I ended up using the stalls from university or high school years. Both of them came with stalls, but I'm not sure which one I used. Um, I used those. And I put some cabinets and sinks and mirrors in here to make it look more communal and not really like a residential bathroom, if you know what I mean. And so I used these mirrors and I just put them behind. I believe I have BB.move objects on, so that's how I was able to put those big mirrors behind the sinks like that. Oh, and I added a baby changer. Um, I added the place where you can go change your infants, and that came with Growing Together, I believe. I believe it didn't come in the update, which I think that changing tables, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I think the changing tables and some of the other things that we got with Growing Together, I feel like some of those should have been base game along with the update, considering infants were a free base game update, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And so that corner right there next to the bathroom was super awkward, and I was really upset about it, but I realized I could just put the stairs there. And yes, I know it's in front of the window, but I completely forgot to change it, and I just completely forgot it was there. So yeah, we have a window looking straight into the stairs. And here, guys, I really don't know how to decorate. Not only am I not really a builder, but I cannot decorate for anything. I will build a whole shell and then not even know how to decorate it. I might put the most basic things, of course, but as far as like clutter and decorations and actually making the place look nice on the inside, that is really not my forte. I come to The Sims to play with The Sims, not really to build. Sorry for the disappointment to anyone. Let me know in the comments if you guys are builders or more of just like gameplay type people, because I am definitely a gameplay type person. But here is the like infant and toddlers room I was talking about. I put a couple of things in here like a crib, and I ended up putting the little tent for toddlers in here also with I believe some bookshelves and just some toys and even a playmat for the infants. So this is somewhere you can bring your infants and your toddlers and have them come in here and do whatever while you're on the computer or reading a book or playing chess or something. I felt like it was a nice addition, and whenever I make more community lots, I try and include infants now ever since we got the update, because of course we're not going to be leaving them home and we don't just want to be stuck at home. So if we go somewhere, I want the community lots to be baby inclusive. But here I'm just putting a rug now, and I thought that this rug here came with Growing Together, but it in fact was base game, which I'm really happy about. It's a really pretty rug. But I decided that upstairs would be more of the like quiet room for studying and maybe doing homework. Playing chess is also gonna be up here, so it's way more quiet. Whereas downstairs, it's weird because downstairs has the books and stuff, but it also is going to have like a debate podium and like game tables. So it's weird, but it's gonna be kind of loud, but maybe you can grab a book and come sit up here with everyone. I used those desks from Growing Together. I really love those desks, and so are those lamps from Growing Together. I used a lot of things from Growing Together. Oh, and here I wanted to have like a loft area and like have you be able to like look over the railing, but I completely did not even know that it would end up, but I didn't even I didn't even realize that it would end up looking into the bathroom, so that was something funny. I just ended up moving it to the other side. And here I'm just putting some tables and some desks, and I put them together using move objects, and these are going to be computers and stations and everything. And I believe later on in this build I end up putting some more on the other side because I didn't like the loft idea, especially how it looked from the downstairs when you had all the walls up. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys whenever we move on to the downstairs. Okay, so here I was so upset because I already started working down here, and then I realized that I wasn't even recording. So I just started recording, and I guess we'll just start from here. But I put down those bookshelves from university, and I kind of put them in a line like that to mimic like an actual library. I just like the way it looks way more than having them up against the wall. Also, it helps to take up some space when it's needed. And here in this little corner, I put it like a debate podium with some chairs. I imagine that people might come to the library around town to have their debates here, or maybe even like political speakers or people of that sort would come here, and I put down some chairs so people can listen. But I really like the brown scheme in here. It's really nice, and I think having a debate podium here is a nice extra skill you can have. So these are game tables, and on these tables your Sims can do puzzles, and I'm not sure if they can play other games also, but I assume they can. I just know that you can use them for puzzles, and I feel like that was something nice to put here to take up the space. Just having a bunch of Sims here just playing games, board games together or doing puzzles together. I just think it's really cute. Also, I just jumped up to the upstairs. That is the part that I also did. Like, I did so much and I wasn't even recording. But this is what it looks like with the walls up. That's when I realized I didn't like the loft at all. So I just covered it back up with floor. And I'm just gonna replicate what's on the other side and probably put more tables and computers here. Although I was thinking of at some point I was gonna put a robotics station here, but I figured that would probably be too much, and who's actually going to come and try and do a robotics skill? I mean, I know not me, but if you would be interested in doing robotics skill or anything, you could always download this build because I plan to put it on the gallery, and you can always just delete these computers here and put some robotic stations there. But as you can see, I had all the chess tables up there and things, and that's the robotic station. I was really upset because I did want to put it, but there was no room, and I didn't want to get rid of the crafting tables and the art and stuff for the children. But as for that, the inside is really done. The last thing I really had to do was put some landscaping around and try and make the place look a little bit more lively and nice. And I put some telescopes outside because those help with logic also. But yeah, I'll get back to you guys once I finish with the outside. Okay, well, that's the whole build, everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm really proud of it. This is my first time building a library and really a full community location. And this is also my first time sharing a build with other people and other simmers. I hope that you guys like it too, and feel free to download it from the gallery. I'll have that information in the description box below for you. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And for those of you who may have a little insecurity with building like me, don't worry. Just practice, 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 and one day we will be able to make those magnificent builds. Peace and love to you all. Until next time.